Welcome back to the Make Some Noise podcast, episode 7, season 2. This week on the podcast, we're going to be covering the recent federal election in Australia. Then, of course, Silly Hour. And we're going to be wrapping up with a quick discussion about yesterday, as of the time of recording, yesterday's SRC meeting. All right, welcome to our first segment for today's episode. We're going to be discussing the recent Australian election. With me in the studio is our amazing director. It's Marcus. Everybody please give him a round of applause. I can't hear you if you do. This is a pre-recorded segment. Along with Marcus, I have with me Billy, a frequent member of our podcast. Say hello, everyone.
Not a frequent contributor here. It's my first time. So
wait, I swear we've spoken on the podcast before. Have we not?
Nope.
His debut appearance.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I must have you confused with some other white guy then. But yeah, we are going to be covering the recent Australian federal election, which Labour won by an absolute fucking landslide. Can we just acknowledge that right off the bat?
Yep, and usually what happens, and this is what I was writing about in my pre-election sort of guide, every single election literally, you have an incumbent party, first term, they will have a swing against them, and they'll lose some seats, sometimes big, sometimes small. Labor didn't lose any seats, and gained many off the coalition and a few off the Greens. So it's sort of one of those, if you're talking about it with friends and what have you, it sounds, Dutton lost, that makes sense. But if you're really studying this is like sort of a pinch me moment. Like you can really feel the historical precedent like being just smashed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was reading up on this earlier. I believe the number of seats that Labour won was 93?
94.
So. And I believe that is tied for the record of most seats held by any incoming government, which is tied with the coalition from couple of years back.
96.
Yeah, but that was when they were in coalition. So that was so this is the most seats ever held by
a singular party, which
is
absolutely insane when you think about it. And I think a lot of that comes down to were a lot of really, really close seats and just the flow of votes from your preferential voting system, which we love. Greatest voting system there is currently, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Anybody? Any other further introductory opening thoughts?
I mean, you've given the general lay of the land.
Well, I think it was just very interesting seeing Dutton. If you're following Dutton for the last 3 years, he was absolutely laser focused. He said, "To hell with wealthy voters." Wealthy voters have been drifting ever so slightly to Labor more and more. Even in elections, they lose. Well, it makes sense if you think about it from the perspective of, in a cost of living crisis, who are the voters who don't do as badly? It's the rich people. Poorer people are generally, even though they are generally Labor leaning, if they're doing poorly, they will, drift to the opposition party, whoever they are.
Right.
He was laser focused on the outer metropolitan, so far out suburbs, basically saying cost of living's hitting them particularly hard. It does. The problem with that is then turning around and saying, I don't want work from home, just in public service though, guys. If you're an outer metropolitan person, you're probably hearing that, and if you don't zone into the whole thing, you hear banning work from home. My sister is a public servant who works from home, so she was definitely on Dunn's radar for, wannabe voters he wants to have. And he just completely burned that bridge.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He lost a lot of voters when he did that.
Yeah.
One of my parents, I will not disclose who for the sake of my own privacy, one of them is a government worker. Who currently does work primarily from home. So when we heard that, my family mostly votes, parents being older, they generally vote Labour. So they were already not going to vote for Liberal, but that pushed Liberal from like, their third or second in preferential voting all the way to like dead last because nobody wants to lose that. It's just a huge thing that I've seen like a lot of these like wealthy business owner types just push in the last couple of years post-COVID is just we need everyone back in the office, which has never really made much sense to me. I mean, if you look at like every productivity stat from every study, like all of them pretty much, I mean, I say that hyperbolically, please don't bother correct me, I will not respond. Pretty much all of them say, productivity goes up by a lot once you let people, have more time to do what they want. Shocking.
Yeah. And it's just, we have a lot of people who work from home.
Yeah, it's
like,
huge.
It is one thing to piss off a small group of people to try and win votes from the right. It is another thing to purposely target voters who you want to win over and say, we don't want you to do that anymore. Just a bit cuckoo.
I mean,
and they also lost a lot of the... They'd already lost in 22 a lot of Chinese voters because of their stance with China. Dutton doesn't help that. Dutton, even though he wasn't banging on about it the whole campaign, he is like the number one war hawk in the Liberal Party and in Parliament. Not anymore.
Yes, because that brings us to a lot of Liberal big shots lost their seats.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Peter Dutton, obviously. A lot of Greens big shots also lost their seats.
Yeah, that one I'm actually very sad about.
Yeah.
Actually, on that, I want to just quickly point out, in my very first introduction to this new job that I love, I made a prediction that said that I thought Peter Dutton would win because it's just been a terrible last couple of years. And I said, that he would win, and you guys can go back and listen to the Silly Hour podcast. But I was actually very, very pleasantly happy that at least one of my predictions did not come true for the year. And I would just like to put that on record.
Well, it's one thing to say the economy is doing poorly, the government's going to lose. You actually have to campaign coherently because, you know, just put yourselves in the mind of someone who is going to open the news once in the 5 weeks that an election campaign happens. And if the only thing they see is Dutton wants to ban work from home, or Dutton backflips on work from home, or
Dutton is bald.
Yeah,
$600 billion.
Never trust a bald man.
Plants. Which I think that did a lot of damage to them as well.
And that actually goes to a core of their thing where they want to they weren't disciplined in floating out these campaign ideas. They should have been very much so swinging out of the gates. This will take however many dollars off your power bills, because clearly Albo saying that last campaign supposedly was going to hurt him this election. It didn't. Saying that means you can't get defined by your opposition. They just said, it's going to cost... I don't even know the real figure. I think they said something like 300 billion, 200 something.
Yeah, it was a lot lower than what Labor said. But with these massive infrastructure projects, it's so hard to know for sure. Maybe it would have ended up being 600 billion, maybe not. I genuinely don't know. It would have been in the hundreds of billions. Everyone agrees on that much, I think. And
so just, focus on the part that wins people over, not the cost they should have done. And, arguing, no, it's not actually going to cost $600 billion. You should say, here's how much it's going to save you. There's no point saying it's going to cost less than anything.
Yeah. I mean, on just one final point on nuclear, because I do want us to sort of charge forward, look to the future and all that. But just one final point on nuclear is that from some of the polling I looked at, support for nuclear is lower now than it was before Peter Dutton made the announcement. So essentially, the more he talked about nuclear, the less, or more realistically, the more Labor went anti-nuclear, the less voters liked the idea of nuclear power in Australia.
Yeah. I just want to quickly add, what's really funny about that is that Labor did talk a pretty big game about like pushing for renewables, and just last week they renewed the thing for that coal mine going
it
till
was a
2070.
gas. It was a gas.
What's it? I
I
swear it
believe
was
so,
called.
yes.
No, it was like a
Gas.
gas like off the coast of Western Australia, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that was
yeah.
that was like I can't remember what the terminology is, but it's something to do with gas and gas
Yeah.
extraction. Up to 2070, yeah. So the carbon bomb. So that's from an environmental standpoint, that's quite disappointing.
Yeah. But it's Labour, and now since they have such a huge swing in the House, at least, they can just sort of almost do whatever. But thankfully, we have more than one section to our government.
Yes.
On that, I just want to quickly point out, I saw this get codified very recently. Pauline Hanson's One Nation now has 4 seats in the Senate. How do we feel about that?
Well, obviously not great. Yeah, the Senate voting is weird and sort of obtuse and hard to understand. But yeah, at the very least, they're not in the same room with the Prime Minister. It sort of takes away the because like there's been slowly a push by them to get lower house seats, and they haven't gone there. They did get to the second preferred candidate thing in Hunter though.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
But they lost 40-60, so no danger of them winning that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Which is very pleasant.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is that while they'll be able to make noise in the Senate, they won't have noise, They won't have any like power realistically, because to pass legislation, Labor is going to need to make deals with either the Greens or the Liberals, and it's not there's no one else has the numbers to pass legislation, so there's
no absolutely
Labor doesn't have.
There's no benefit.
How many?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. How many Green senators are there? Isn't it like
One less now.
one less?
but it's still balance of power.
Isn't it like 11 or 14 or some crazy
It's
number
like
like that?
12.
Oh, I thought it was 10. Like they had 11, but then just like last night.
So we're in the double digits.
Last night, at time of recording, one of the Green senators defected to Labor.
Oh yes, I saw that.
So I think they're down to 10 now.
Let's see, senators.
There's been a lot of defections, a lot of mutiny going on.
Yes.
Jacinta Price defected to the Liberals from the Nationals. We've got this Green
And
senator.
we forget Fatima Payman.
We love Fatima Payman in this house.
That's right.
As a Muslim brown man and a West Coast West Coaster, we love her. Ever since she did that entire like brain rot speech, just huge.
I mean, if you think about it, the young people she's talking to who use that terminology will be of voting age by the time her re-election comes around.
Which is terrifying. I've got a younger sister who is, I call her a Gen Alpha. She refuses to go by that term. But in just a couple short years, in 2 federal elections' time, she's going to be of voting age. Which is terrifying to think about, that these kids with such little comprehension skills, as shown by studies, are going to be of voting age. It's kind of scary because it's almost like the second coming of the boomers. If you think about it. No.
Do you think they have the attention span to go through a Senate ballot?
Do you think that boomers have the same attention span?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. No, and I guess this is a sort of almost natural segue into what we were briefly discussing before we started recording this segment, education.
Yes.
So, the majority of our listeners, I assume, are students at UNSW. So, education, especially tertiary education, very important to them. Student life, policies targeted at students, et cetera, et cetera. So now that Labor has this resounding majority, what are they going to try and do with it as far as students are concerned?
Well, pretty clear they're mainly going for that big 20% off the HEX thing. Maybe they'll do something further. Maybe they'll add another 10% in their re-election bid in 2028.
Yeah,
not sure, but it's.
20% off isn't too bad.
They're very keen on they don't have to be, super like, we're just going to abolish the whole thing. Students would love that. But as long as they're better than the other guy, they get the two-party
Yeah.
preferred advantage with the young people.
You know, it's either 20% off or nothing.
Yeah.
And it gets more expensive.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And one of the blocks of voters people were watching before the election was the young men, because young men very much lean to the right globally, especially Europe, America. They, like, it's a very big gender gap. In voting. In Australia, not so much, and
Woohoo.
that's interesting and good because
just all that weird
Yeah.
right-wing red pill bullshit that gets peddled to bed. This is not a alpha male podcast. This is very much the opposite of that.
A beta male podcast?
I would argue.
Sigma.
Okay, first of all,
We
I want
exist
to put on
outside
record,
this hierarchy.
Marcus, if we were to assign any, okay. The only terminology for this alpha beta stuff that I accept is the like weird fan fiction alpha beta omega rules.
This is sounding like a silly hour segment.
It is. So I'm going to quickly segue real quickly back, but I just want to say very quickly before I cut back to the actual important stuff that if we were to classify anybody as anything, you, Marcus, would be an omega. And with that, we're going to go back
Segue.
to education. So
Yes.
a lot of the actual education policies that Labour was pushing for was, apart from like the HECSTET stuff for us lovely tertiary students, was also a lot of stuff to do with like early education and primary schooling and all that. I believe we had a segment in one of our early episodes talking about high school. I believe it was privatization.
Sort of, yes. So we
It was,
talked earlier
it was
about
a bit of,
not high school specifically, but we talked about your primary and secondary education, and so the funding gap between
Yes, the
a lot
funding
of
gap.
public schools and
Yes,
private
yes.
schools. Labor has, I mean, they've committed to, like, they've reached deals with all of the states
Yes.
to.
Well, it was originally all the states except Queensland for a few years. They've finally got the deal with Queensland.
Yes, yeah. So they've
Let's
reached deals with all
go.
the states, but it's still going to take, I believe,
10 years.
a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, until this actually comes into effect. So this is a very long term.
Well, bureaucracy has
yeah.
never been known for its lightning speed,
And,
which
you
is
know.
why progressives pretty much never get in government, because progressives want things fast, and bureaucracy does not like that.
And
but
also
that's
the
a segment
CIA
for another
funds
day.
funds the right-wing election.
Yeah.
That whole thing, yeah.
That whole thing too. But yeah, they're also doing a thing where they want to cut the cost of early education and care for around 1 million families and building a universal early childhood education and care system, directly quoted from their education minister's statement, which is great. I believe one of our editors expressed interest in talking about something to do with the childcare laws. So maybe look out for that if that ends up going through.
Stay tuned.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Childcare
yeah.
is very
It's very expensive.
very expensive and very, like, you know, if you were to say you're going to send your kid to this primary school, and if you were to describe what happens in some childcare centres, people wouldn't send their kids to school. Would
yeah.
not send their kids to school, you know, tying them down and all this sort of abuse and, you know, underpayment stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those
yeah.
things where it's like, it should be a universal thing, and it's a very widely used system, so why isn't it treated like the public school system or the public high school system or even universities? Very expensive, but we don't get tied down to chairs and like
Yeah.
force-fed or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree with that sentiment.
I think I'm just gonna realize. I think we're veering a little bit beyond the scope of the.
Oh, sure.
That's
Sure.
the
Yes,
end date.
please steer us back.
But just
Steer us
to,
back. Oh, great editor senpai.
Okay, we'll face the microphone when you speak, Marcus. So I think. So we've gone over the basics of the results, some of the factors,
Woo,
some of
done.
the policies, what they may mean for us. We've also, I do want to just briefly draw attention to a of the 150 seats in the lower house, there is one that is still in doubt.
Bradfield.
Still?
Yep.
Yes, it's the recount.
Oh,
should
wait,
be
is that the
done.
one where the gap between the two candidates was like 40 votes?
At
Yep.
one point, it was one vote.
Yes,
My
and now
God.
it's sitting on the recount, which I have been told should be done by the end of the week. It's sitting on 34 the Independence way, so it's a
Okay, well, we do. I haven't looked at the policies for the independent in Bradfield, mainly because it's
They're-
not my electorate and it does
yeah.
not concern me. But I do love more independent representation
Yeah.
in government, purely because anything to break us out of the two-party system, and we do not want to end up like the US.
Finally, just some final context. There's been a lot of chaos just in terms of parliamentary parties over the past few weeks as everyone's just dealing with the election loss. Obviously, the Liberals and the Greens both have a new leader. There's
On that,
been-
we should also probably mention the brief break between
the breakup.
yeah.
the break. It was very much a high school drama kind of break. It was 8 days
Yeah.
of David Littleproud being very upset that his chummy boyfriend Peter Dutton is out of government and now there's a woman in power. That's not actually what happened. Please don't sue us for that. But
A moderate. Even worse.
that is how I'm gonna choose to phrase it. They disagreed on, I believe, 4 policies, and that was what was officially said.
They don't agree on what they disagreed on.
Well, and I think too it was people were saying because Susan Lee won on such a small margin
Yes.
in the caucus that a coalition breakup would be, very treacherous, risky waters for her. She so far she's doing okay. We'll see what happens when those 3 senators leave, because when those get replaced, and if this
Bradfield,
this
because the
the
Liberal
candidate
candidate in
was
Bradfield
a
was
moderate,
allowed to
voted
vote.
for
and,
and there was also a factional right wing guy in Queensland. His seat hadn't been called yet, so he didn't vote in the thing. So she's kind of if she can run out the clock, because look, if they try and do a spill on her and it makes it look like the Liberals are, trying to oust the first female leader they have, maybe some people will move towards
Again,
her.
it's just terrible optics.
She's
I will say that just as a politician, I've looked a little bit at her policies, not again in very deep detail, but one of the first things she said was that she was wanting to steer the Liberal Party in a different direction than Dutton's Liberal Party. But so far, all of her policies look the exact same.
She hasn't really announced. Isn't her whole thing that we're not announcing any policies? We
That's
are going.
very true. But
Yeah.
if you look at her past voting records and
right.
the motions she's put
but they
forward.
all vote the same.
Yeah, but
It's
that's also a huge problem with our.
It's the coat of paint.
Yeah, that's literally exactly why Fatima Payment left Labour, because you're not allowed to vote against your own party if you're
They
in a
are.
major party.
Liberals are. Liberals can cross the floor.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't have the
That's
same
surprisingly
rules. Yes.
progressive for them.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know quite what to make of that
They
information.
have a lot of, think about it, they have a lot of right-wing cookers who go, climate policy? Hell no. Voting against this. So they kind of need that.
Can
otherwise
they
will-
cross the floor on any issues, or is it only when?
I believe it is all issues, but if you're a minister, you can't. That was one of the
yes.
things
Okay.
in the
I mean,
coalition.
solidarity.
Yeah, I mean,
cabinet
fair enough if
solidarity.
you have
Yep.
a proper position like that.
That's what one
anyway,
of the things.
we are. I feel like a couple of minutes over time since I last said that we should be wrapping this up. So, thank you, Billy Marcus, for joining me
Welcome.
on this
Welcome.
fun little discussion about the hellscape that is our political landscape. And with that, we will cut to our next segment.
Send me your cranial measurements waypoints.
Okay, we got to keep that in.
We
as an
are
outtake.
recording.
Yeah, so we're recording now.
Welcome to Silly Hour. We were just getting it on with a couple. Hello. Welcome to Silly Hour. We unfortunately don't have Mia in the studio today. She is still in Crocodile Land up north. Shout out Queensland and Bob Catter. But we do have Diya. Say hi.
Hi, I'm back because I was not here last time.
Yeah, she was. Neither was I.
Oh. Shout out. We are
Shout out.
back.
Wait, who was on?
Marcus was back.
Yeah, I took your place last time.
Okay, yeah, checks out.
I'm sorry. I had no choice.
No, it's okay.
Please forgive me.
For some context, my seat, what has become my seat in the recording studio is what I like to call the cuck chair, which, in accordance with my previous comments, yeah, it totally checks out that you would take the cuck chair.
I think you should elaborate, Afnan. I mean, we have a topic for Celia, but I think
this
think
is
first
irrelevant
you should.
to the topic.
Yeah, you should elaborate on that.
I mean,
Share
I
with
was
the
just talking about how you have the perfect, just general. You're just a perfect specimen for Eastern European gay porn, but you also just if you were cast in like a 50 Shades of Grey-esque movie, you would be in the cuck chair the entire time.
Oh, most definitely,
Like, what's that one movie where it's just two guys at a restaurant having a conversation?
My Dinner with Andre.
Yeah, it's like My Dinner with Andre, but it's just you and a guy both sitting in a cuck chair next to each other, which is background ambient noise. I want to see that film now. Anyway, welcome to Silly Hour. Today's topic is our greatest fumbles and
Dating horror stories.
dating horror stories. With me in the studio is, of course, Diya, who I've already introduced, Marcus, who I've just belittled accidentally. Sorry, man. It's my love language. And also Billy. Billy's here.
Big Bill is in the studio.
Big Dog Bill.
You don't understand. I wanted Big Bill on Silly Hour for like the longest time ever. This is my dream guest on the podcast.
Yay.
Dream guest of my podcast is
Big Bill, by the way, is one of the top white men ever. So, not a top, but just clarify. But he's in the list of. He's one of those white boys who is actually goated with the sauce for real.
Yep.
All right, Diya, do you want to start us off?
Can I start the topic off differently? Because this is an intervention. Because
Sure.
we have Big Bill in the studio. I would like
Not
to
an
talk about
intervention.
somebody else's biggest fumble instead of my own, which is Billy's.
You want me to say my biggest fumble?
No, I would like to talk about somewhat thick with light features.
No.
Did you ask him to come on the podcast just to humiliate him?
I
Diya?
didn't. But when Afnan started talking, I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity on the podcast.
All right, I've seen a little bit of the context behind this, but I'm still so confused. Billy, I need to get
Okay,
your
wait.
official press statement. This is a press conference now. Billy, when you said that you prefer somebody thick
I
with
didn't
light
say I
features,
preferred it.
okay, so you're saying that you didn't prefer it, but what did you mean by thick with light features?
Somewhat thick with light features, because not thick,
Yes,
just
please,
somewhat.
please elaborate for the. God, I'm stumbling over my
The
words today.
listeners?
For the listeners, yes, to bring us up to your speed.
I don't know. It's not a scientific term. I can't crack out a measuring tape and
Would you
tell
like to bring back the original context of it all? Which
I
is
said it was my OG
your
type, but it's
OG
like-
type.
It's historically
I've-
speaking.
No,
Like, if you take
there's
everyone
not
you
enough
like the
history.
past.
It's like saying my parents have historical ties to Australia. They came here in
Okay,
the 80s.
for some reason, when you
like,
said
God.
historical ties, my mind immediately went to my parents have historical ties to Israel, and I thought this was going in a completely different direction.
They do not.
Sorry, the
But
YouTube shorts
we're
isn't
talking about
getting funny.
fumbles. We're
Well,
not
no.
talking-
I think that it's good to to ground this all back into the dating the types. So, how would you describe your type, everyone?
Diya Sengupta.
Whoa.
That's so
Shout
funny.
out to my second favorite couple, as I've said previously. I don't think I've said that to Marcus, but yes, you two are my second favorite friend couple.
I'm honoured. Who do we have to kill to become number one?
A different couple.
Okay.
Anyway, not to get into all
Well,
of that.
I was looking for more broad answers because I would like Billy now that that's no longer because that's your OG type. So Billy's OG type is somewhat thick with light features.
I did get that sort of wording from someone who didn't speak English. Someone whose first language wasn't English. So if it sounds a bit clunky, it's because, yes.
I will also
okay,
say
so-
I
we
sort of-
use this term so much
Microaggression.
in conversation that we have the abbreviation for it. Like we
Yeah.
just type it as like Billy. Is this ST?
And I feel every time like I'm walking into the most hostile press conferences. I'm like, I'm going to say, nah, man, that's I don't fuck with that anymore. And then they will say, no, you do. Admit it. It's like an interrogation. It's like, I'll come up with a good answer and be like, that's not your answer, Big Bill. That's not your answer.
Yeah.
Tell us what you really think.
Tell us what you really think.
So Afnan, how would you describe your type?
Oh, I feel like I've spoken to you about this in private before. It's okay. First of all, just broadly, women. Love. Shout out women. Top 3 genders of all time. Top 1.
What's the top one? You got a hierarchy there? Wow.
Yeah.
Top
No,
one,
number 1 is women. Love women. I don't really have like much of a preference beyond that, but I guess like if any of you know Ball, shout out Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3.
Interesting.
I absolutely love women who look like they could lift a semi-truck and throw it at you. Shout out.
Good answer. Billy.
I think generally I just want someone who's not conservative, because when I hear conservative stuff coming out of people's mouths, my estimation of them as a person just like starts tanking. And worse is the centrist type who go like, I'm not really interested in politics.
Okay,
but I'm like, oh, no, go away, get out of my face.
Literally 80%
Can I bring
of those
can I bring
people
this
are
side?
just- yeah.
Which is me and Marcus were talking about whether we would date on Love is Blind. And Marcus had the genius strategy of just the first question you ask as soon as you get there is politics.
Obviously.
Like you just get in out of the bat and you're like, talk about politics. But you like don't just be like, what are your political values? Because everyone goes, oh, I consider myself a leftist or no, just like throw something really contentious and straight away and wait for the person who's ready to yap.
Palestine. And just leave it at
Palestine.
that.
Disgust.
Just slide into DMs with Palestine, question mark.
Yes, for or against.
Yeah. Give me 3 points for and 3 points against. And
No devil's
Play
advocate.
devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I've had people, you know how crazy it is when you like hear people say that in class, because I'm like, that is a stereotype of someone who's about to say something evil and insane.
Yeah.
And
no,
still people go in with like, yeah, no, I just want to be a devil's advocate. No, you don't.
because
No,
I
you
feel
don't.
like
You
at
believe
some
that.
point we just
In
have
your
to
soul.
agree that the devil can advocate for himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, as a law student, everyone is entitled to an attorney and legal representation.
Yep.
Yeah, but also
I will defend Satan. He seems like a cool guy.
okay,
I actually
but,
agree with this, but that's a separate topic for a separate day.
Okay, we need to talk about theology and Satan.
I think we would get
next
cancelled
week.
more than we've gotten cancelled so far on this podcast.
No, but okay, I have some.
We can talk about it
I have some takes. But anyway, horror stories.
Just to answer quickly, my type is autistic twinks. Shout out to my autistic twinks.
Shout out Autistic Twinks, which includes Marcus. Shout out. I love this man.
Anyways, where I'm going with this is dating, horror stories, and fumbles. Now, the reason I brought this up originally is because many a woman has fumbled Billy.
Yes, actually.
Fantastic way to phrase it.
Yes.
And by that I just mean they were not like we will be Billy.
No,
okay,
well,
I'm
no,
sorry,
there
Bill. I
is
get to rant
people-
about this on the podcast. Billy keeps on going, set us up with somebody, set us up with your friends, and then every time we like send a friend to him, he's like, nah.
You've sent a couple through. It's not like a large body. But many people has fumbled me in the general sense that they have tried and they have gotten, they have overplayed their hand. And I've just gone,
What
get
the
out of
fuck does that mean, Bill?
Let me elaborate. They are,
Please.
as someone who is neurodivergent and interacts with different people, there is a level of I want to be your friend. It's great when I think neurodivergent people are like straight out of the bat, I want to be your friend. It is another thing when they're like having a go, or like they just. I had someone, my friend's ex, who was talking to me, and I was like, why? Go away. But also, they were just like acting like they were my friend, and I was like, oh my god, like should meet up sometime. I'd met the person once, and I'm like, no. There's more law there, but it's.
Does that count as your first dating horror story?
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay, there we go.
We've gotten through one.
We've got one on the books.
Well, the reason that I also started with Bill was because my dad listens to the podcast, so therefore I'm only telling stories my dad already knows.
Shout out Diya's dad. Should we keep that in?
Yeah, shout out to my dad.
No,
I don't mean to
allowed
shout out.
Yeah.
This also means I have to be very, very careful.
But
Yeah, Marcus, you don't want to play your hand too early. You got to save that for like the third Christmas.
I feel like my dad is Googling what a cuck chair is.
I'm so sorry, Diya's dad. We love you.
But yeah, here's two stories that I prepared. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is a story of how somebody not necessarily fumbled me, but like I would like to acknowledge this person did this, and it has become a running thing in my family, and they bring it up a lot. Which is when I was working at Redacted Theme Park. We were very like split into departments. So like the rides people would not socialize with the games people, would not socialize with the ticketing people, blah, 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 blah.
Holy high school cliques.
Yes.
What?
It was very that. And it was also just like we had different schedules. We had like, we operated differently to each other. You would not communicate with people from the other departments. You would just talk to the head of your department. They would talk to the head of their department. If that makes sense. But anyways, one day in the break room, this guy comes up to my table who's not from my department. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing here? You're not from my department. That doesn't happen because this is High School Musical, you know. It's like before the little dancey dance in High School Musical where everyone sticks to their cliques.
Right.
But this guy came up to me at this table and he was like, yeah, I'm new here. Like, I just moved from India. I'm an international student, and you know, I just wanted to like meet other Indians. And I was like, yep, that's me. I'm an Indian. And then he started talking to me about food and things like that. And I was like, yeah, like I like Indian food, obviously, blah, blah, blah. What I miss the most is Indian sweets. I love Indian sweets.
Shout out Gulab Jamuns.
I disagree. I think gulab jamuns are mid.
Okay, we need to fight.
I think they're at the bottom tier. They're kind of mid.
And we have controversy in the studio.
But where I'm going with this...
Diya, we can't be friends.
Like, I'll still eat it, but I just would
how do
prefer
I
something
spell?
else.
I wanna-
Gulab, so Gulab?
Yeah, that is the most commonly.
Yeah.
You will get it at restaurants. But no, I'm talking about, like, the little sweets that you get in, like, the sweet box.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with this is he would, like, bring me Indian sweets to work. And I did not know how to break it to him that I was not interested because he never explicitly asked me any. Like, he never explicitly romantically was pursuing me. But, like, at that point, dog. I mean,
If he's bringing you a sweetie,
and I was
he's
like,
trying to make you his.
and I think that's a
sweetie.
great example that sometimes you can do all of the right things and you're still not the right person for somebody. You know?
And yeah, I think that's a very important lesson that a lot of people need to internalize.
I will say, in terms of acts of service gestures.
That's just exactly what he heard anytime he saw you.
Yeah. Well, we also had like a good amount of brown people working there. And
Shout out my people.
unironically, after I at some point he just started courting the next brown woman.
Yeah.
Like at some point he was like, here's another one. I'm
Yeah,
so in,
another
guys.
We love fetishizers here.
Oh, he was brown too, so therefore it was fine.
Okay. No, that how did I miss that detail? No, that's
That would be
Do you think
crazy
a white
work.
boy
yeah.
is buying me a mithai box?
I
Yes.
would be.
No, because the image is so much funnier. It's like, how do I connect with this
I get
exotic
two Kaju
woman?
barfies. And 3 of the pink ones.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. We've heard from 2 of our esteemed guests. Marcus.
Rude. Pointing the spotlight upon me. God. Okay.
Of course, the man at the cuck chair doesn't want the spotlight on him.
You're the one in the cuck chair today, mate. Okay.
And I always will be.
I mean, I was talking to Dear about this earlier. Like, I'm not sure if I have any like horror stories.
All right. We'll be the judge of that.
But also, to be clear, I didn't realize I was going to be on this podcast until an hour ago.
You
so
say that every
yeah,
single
because
time
it's
you're
always true. You always ambush me.
Like, I have a great
And
idea
it's
for
so
today. Come on,
fun
sit
every
down.
time.
Yeah.
Shout out
We can
Marcus.
circle back to you if we want to go to AFNet first.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you want
Okay, so
a
there's
couple
one
minutes?
time this girl came over my house to try to watch Tiger King.
Oh my god.
Big mistake.
Huge. Worst mistake of your life.
Incredible.
Well, I mean, yeah, talking.
Oh,
It's
so-
always good to put it on a show.
go on, Big Bill. Is this your dating advice?
No, this is just my obligatory absolute leap back to politics. Remember when what's the guy's name? Joe
Joe
Joe Exotic?
Joe Exotic endorsed Albanese for
Yes.
some reason.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Right, wait, I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
and
did that
Albanese
happen?
was like, I did not know about this.
Yeah. Anyway, just in case it was missed on any of the viewing audience, that's how Dia and I ended up started dating. But anyway, I think that's.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how it happened?
Yes.
How did I never hear this? This is my first. I can't believe the first time hearing of this is on the goddamn podcast.
In the podcast studio we met.
That actually true. Yes, we did meet for the first time in this very room.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I said is, where did you come from? And what was your response?
My response was, Victoria originally. Because that's a normal answer to that question. That's a normal way to respond.
Yeah.
After your turn, go.
Oh god. Okay.
And I have another one after.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Fantastic.
I'll share one of my signature highlights.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
go. In terms of horror stories, I don't really know if I have any. Okay, so historically, I have had a terrible track record of attempting to get into relationships. So I suppose that's worth noting.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? What's okay? I guess a fun horror story to loop back into would be the first like proper crush I had back in year 6. I guess that's fun. So I was like a complete fucking I was a complete stereotype. I was essentially walking the pipeline towards like alt-right incel. Thankfully I'm not there anymore. Shout out. But
Big ups.
I was literally the fucking stereotype of okay, so this is what I used to do on my breaks in recess and lunch. I would sit on a corner, write shitty poetry with my purple glitter pen in my shitty little notebook. I think I still have that fucking notebook somewhere. Which is fantastic. That was also when the gay allegations began, because like 90% of the people I hung out with were with women, which was great. I did it because I like the gossip, and
Me too, I love
I've
the
since
gossip.
endorsed the allegations because I love them and I love the compliments.
You and Bill out queen me and Ed, like my friends that are literal drag queens. You and Billy are the only two people that I know. I think that we should do for a future silly hour. You guys should have a queen off.
Yeah.
Honestly, slay.
Like, you know, what did Justin Bieber say about the Hailey Bieber Vogue cover?
Okay, I actually do know that. To be fair, I also heard that Hailey just recently came out as saying that she's literally been preying on this man's downfall and has been like doing witchcraft on him. Which also, she stalked him before they got together. Like, that's also a thing that happened. Anyway,
We cannot. Okay, Afnan, how is hanging out with women writing poetry part of an alt-right
Okay.
incel platform? Because I don't see the connection.
Okay, so this is all just a bit of context to give you an idea of who I was back then. So essentially, I was very much crushing on this girl who was in my class at the time. She and I were part of like we had like a specific group in my class of students who were really, really smart, but didn't do the actual assessment to get into the like accelerated one. I forget. You guys in New South Wales have like an accelerated like class in primary school, right? It's
not in my experience.
We had one in Victoria. We had the VHAP, but
yeah, but there's like one here where it's like, oh, you do a test in like year 4 and then you go to like.
Not
Because
sure.
you two are Victorian, so this.
No.
Well, no, I spent the first 3 years of my life in Victoria.
Yeah, but there's like a
Marcus
thing
is-
here. I know my sister
Marcus
did
and
it.
Billy are from regional areas.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm Victorian, so this is all on you, bud.
Yeah, but anyway, this my primary school was the only one that had like a class like this where it was like, okay, all the smart kids go into this one, and you guys learn like
We had
high
that
school
too in
shit.
Victoria,
Yeah, but essentially because I wasn't there when the thing happened, and so weren't these kids weren't either. We were like the exclusive kid of kids in my class who just did completely different shit to the rest. So I was crushing on this girl for the entire year, and I did not make a move because I'm a pussy and still am. Except all the way until our final day of year 6. And I just want to point out again, I was a complete weird emo motherfucker.
Who wasn't in year 6?
Yeah, the night before our final day, I spent the entire night writing apology letters to all of my classmates, except for this girl who I did write a half apology to, but for context, everyone else had like 1 or 2 sentences.
What are you apologizing to them for?
I don't know. That's okay. You gotta understand. I was again emo motherfuckers. I was like, oh no, I feel so bad having tortured them with my presence for a year. That was my prerogative. But this girl, I just filled her entire card with like random bullshit, and I
You just have too much aura. And
Too much aura.
You just need to apologize.
just need to apologize. And I remember one of the things I put in. So again, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast. Huge BTS fan. Been a fan since year 5. So I put in a lyric that I wrote out in the Korean from one of their like more romantic songs.
Was she a BTS fan?
No, she
Oh,
was
this
she
is
was
so
she was
bad.
Chinese as well. So
Oh no.
and I knew this. I didn't.
Oh, God.
I specifically did it because I knew she didn't speak or read or understand Korean. So I was like, haha, foolproof way for me to get that catharsis without actually having to do it. Anyway, essentially after this, we didn't speak until partway through first term of year 7 when I ran into her mom on the train. Her mom was like, oh, I remember you. I really liked you. And I was like, I've never met this woman in my life. She's like, do you want my daughter's number? I'm like, hello? Endorsement from the mother. I know. I was huge.
Crazy endorsement.
I went to my friends after playing football the next day, and I was like, guys, you won't believe what just happened. I got a girl's number, and not only did I get the girl's number, her mother gave it to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, we start texting, we start chatting on Instagram, and this goes on until year 8. And again, I'm still an emo motherfucker, and because I'm essentially being a fucking pick-me loser, we have each other blocked. Is all I'll say. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, so you fumbled her after.
We both. I will say it wasn't.
was
Neither
a
of us
mutual-
were being
mutual
very good
fumbling.
people.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a lot of those.
Yeah, I don't know if I think I deleted those screenshots, but if I have them, I'll dig them up and I'll send them through.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout
Because it took me years to get over that, and I have, and now it's just a funny thing to look back on. Like, what
Your
a
year
fucking
6
loser.
crush got fumbled.
Yeah.
Okay,
She
Bill.
fumbled yuking.
Bill.
Yeah,
All right,
I think
so-
I
I'm
think
so
this will
excited for this story.
be this will probably be our last one. So
I will
make
give
it a good
you,
one.
There's just too much context to give. So I'm going to do the Spark Notes edition.
We love it.
The AI summary, but it's not by AI. So I've seen this girl a couple of times. And then I'm like, hey, do you want to get lunch? And so we go to lunch, and then we go back to my place. Ooh, everyone go, Billy. Big Bills.
Let's watch Tiger King.
Yeah.
Netflix and chill.
So for context, the context I'll give you.
Hulu and
I
Woohoo.
had a very, very big shift at work the day before this, and I was feeling very tired. I was like, no, it's just because I was overworked that day, just pretty tired. My roommate also had COVID at the time,
Uh-oh.
and he was like isolating, but still, it's in the air. So I never positive. I never tested positive.
Is that love in the air, or is it just COVID?
Yeah.
Wrong.
And then we're
gas leak.
at my place, and playing some games on my Xbox, And then we're laying down and I'm starting to go.
Sorry, I know you're talking and you're like getting in your flow state, but I just have to
Yes.
just
No,
quickly
go
say
on.
nothing has made more sense about you in the last like 30 minutes of talking to you than when you said I have an Xbox. Like that explains so much about you. Just
God forbid
Continue.
a boy have an Xbox. But anyway,
day and age.
I have all the consoles. But anyway,
Okay.
we're playing some games, and I'm laying down, well, like sort of half laying down and cuddling, and very good. The problem is, this is not making me any less tired, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, we're at the finish line, and I'm like tired. Like not actually at the we're almost. We could be into some nice stuff, but
You're about to start the race.
yeah. But I'm too tired, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna take a little nap. And she's like, oh, I'll go then. I'm like, no, you don't have to. But otherwise it was going very well. And then because I was sick for a week, after that because I realized I was sick and I took my nap and I was like,
COVID?
oh my god, I'm actually sick. Sick of some kind, I guess,
right.
probably COVID, but I
Yeah.
never tested positive. And so after that week, I was like, oh, let's meet up. And she's like, oh, yeah, great. Day off. Hey, we still doing this? No, actually, I forgot. I'm busy today. And then I'd do it. I'd just keep repeating that. And that's the end of it. But then, as I told you the other day, long after, and this is after, because there's so much context, this is after me fumbling a second time. I'm watching in theatres Ridley Scott's Napoleon, and at the end of the movie, Napoleon, like his last words were like Josephine, because it's the baddie he fumbled, and then I walk out of the cinema, and I see her, and I'm like,
You're Josephine.
I'm like, yeah, I'm Josephine, yeah.
You
And-
do seem like a Napoleon type of person. And I don't know. Okay.
He's gonna conquer half the world or whatever.
No, I don't.
He didn't get that
Billy
far.
does
Do you,
not
do
have
you,
what it takes.
do you, do you know?
Napoleon
I don't-
had a
'cause
newspaper.
This is a
I
very
am
specific
in a newspaper.
reference to something Napoleon did in regards to Josephine, and I'm making direct eye contact with Dia as I say this.
Is this the
The letter.
Yeah, you think I would send someone don't wash
For 3 days.
for 3 days?
I think you would.
See?
I think you would.
I don't think I would. I think it's sort of in the spirit of my freak though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The spirit of my freak is insane.
Okay.
Speaking of which, can I end this by plugging something?
Please.
Yes.
If you've enjoyed seeing Big Bill, you can, and hearing about Big Bill fumble baddies, you can also see that at UNSW Love Island, where
Oh my God,
I will
you're
be pitching
pitching him?
Big Bill.
Let's go!
Yes, to a live audience.
Yeah, and I'm
Oh,
very
I will-
excited.
If you
I will
think
be
that
so
sounded
tuning
fun,
in.
if you think getting fumbled by me sounds fun, you can do it
You
in
can
real
apply.
life.
Yeah, you can apply
But
to be on
if
Love
you
Island.
fumble Big Bill on Love Island, you fumble Big Bill in real life. It's
Scary.
it's scary to
Big
think
Bill's
about.
a prize,
have
let me
never
tell you.
been higher.
Yeah, yes.
Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen,
Anyone can fumble
this
Big Bill.
man is essentially like catching a gigantic carp. He's a huge catch.
Yeah. I thought you were going to start talking about the Barnaby Joyce herpes infestation.
What? Not everyone's constantly thinking about Barnaby's Joyce herpes and carp.
It's very strange that you
ends
are.
the segment.
All right. Thank you for
Alrighty.
listening to Silly Hour. This was, I think, one of the most chaotic ones we've had.
That's because Big Bill's in the studio.
That's because Big
Yeah.
Bill's here.
I need to end this with a bar. I feel like Big Bill could also
Yes.
have
Okay. We
bars.
haven't done that in quite some time, and we really need to bring that back.
Oh,
All right.
What's your bar?
Hang on, I'm trying to think.
Wait,
I need to
let-
pre-think of these.
All right. I'll give you a second. Let me get a beat going. Boots and cats. What? What? You don't know the whole like boots and cats?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Beatboxing.
It's a very theatre kid beatboxing thing.
Yeah, that's like. No, okay.
It's like, let me drop the hardest beat you've ever heard. Boots and cats.
Cats are boots and
What's your bar?
I feel like I kind of write these like Sabrina Carpenter nonsense outros.
You would make a fantastic ghostwriter for Sabrina
Thank
Carpenter.
you. in the studio with Big Bill, out here. No, in the studio with Big Bill. It's pretty much a big deal. After this, I'm gonna get a big fill of a sandwich from Home Ground and nothing else.
Yes.
Let's go. All right. Welcome back to our final segment for this week's episode. I hope we put in a very calming transition after our very chaotic, silly hour. Transitioning to something a little bit more serious now. With me in the studio, I am joined by current SRC President Diya Sengupta.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Big ups.
Big ups. Now, Diya, yesterday was the first SRC meeting for this term. Would you like to go over some of the details?
It was also the first day of term, which is
Indeed.
a terrible time to do the first SRC meeting.
Very much so. Very tiring.
Yeah, no, the meeting itself was a lot of motions. It was like 14 motions or something ridiculous.
Yes.
But I guess the long and short of it all, the biggest, most contentious motion was in reviewing the Safer Spaces policy, which is exciting to overlook because it's one of those that I guess is like such a cornerstone of SRC policy and also just general ARC policy that I guess having the council back looking into that and actively examining that instead of it just being like, yeah, whatever, we'll take off another year of it is pretty good. Especially because I already redid Charter, which took me a very long time. So I guess this is another quest for that. And I guess the other motions that there was a lot about Labour and the new Labour government, which I'm sure you guys had Marcus and Billy yap about at the beginning of the podcast. And I guess the opposition to that and not accepting Labour as a win because, you know, just because Dutton lost does not mean that we won, all things considered.
Yeah. All right. What about some plans for the future? What is the SRC looking to achieve this term onwards?
So I guess I can split this into three main categories, which is firstly through the collectives, we have a lot of student guides coming through. So that will be a gendered violence campaign by the Women's Collective, which should take place, like it will be a physical guidebook as well as like you'll see videos, you'll see posters, all that stuff about gendered violence, preventing gendered violence, what is gendered violence in the first place, how you can access support for it, all that kind of stuff. We did find a really old resource, like from way before my time, which is called the Riot Girl Guides to Abortion or something like that.
I believe I've heard of this.
And things like that, where it's like, here's a lot of really cool resources that we can put out and mass produce with our budget and our networks, I guess. So they're doing that. International Collective and Ethnocultural Collective are doing one on an international students guide to get ready for term 3 intake, where we get a lot of international students in. I guess like helping them transition better into their new role at UNSW.
Yeah.
And then also those are the two main like guides and things like that. There are obviously the collectives are building themselves and they have events, Queer Ball is coming up, and all that jazz. For me personally as president, I have two main jobs this term, which is firstly to expand Clothes Hub because it exceeded everything, and I was talking about it on this podcast when I was a little baby with a little idea, and now I've been there, done that, and we're going to run it 3 times this term, including week 2, which is probably when you're listening to this podcast on Thursday. The actual dates for this term will be on the SRC Instagram, which I will post later today, so that means that when you are listening to this, it'll already be up. The other thing that I am working on is a campaign towards getting universal short extensions, which for those of you who don't know, some courses you have short extensions that you can get to have an extra 48 hours on your assignments. The issue right now is that it's an opt-in system. So professors need to like decide that they will allow short extensions for their courses, and currently has like an 11% usage rate, which is better than the 5% it started off with. But that means like 89% of courses don't offer short extensions.
Yeah.
Whereas if we swap it to an opt-out system where every course has them and then professors can justify, like for example, when I was talking to like people in board about like, why is this not a thing? It's like if you have an assignment that's due on this day and then you have a second part to the assignment due the day after and they need to release the second part, then you can't know what the first part is and things like that. So having, I guess, like explain this is why this task cannot qualify for a short extension instead of the current way, which is, I guess, putting the onus on the professor to want to partake in that. So that will, like, obviously, currently we're working on a survey to go out about short extensions and attitudes towards that, and also like general exams and flexibility and all that, and how that's impacted students. And the second prong of that will be a mixture between activism on campus and like actually building that student resistance to it, and also liaising with academic board and the people in position of power over all that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but universal short extensions were also one of your campaign points.
Yes, they were. Universal short extensions is something I'm very passionate about. Just a little bit about me, not to get too personal, is that I'm currently on ELS, which means that I get extra time on all of my assignments and things like that. And I did not get onto ELS until my 4th year of uni, and I had failed courses and done really poorly in courses before that, just because I did not have adequate support, and I also did not have adequate documentation to even get support in the first place, because you need to have like everything documented to qualify for ELS.
Yes.
And so I guess having those short extensions there in the interim would have really helped me out.
I fully agree, and as a student myself, I feel like I speak for sort of the majority of the student body in saying that there's never any harm in having a few extra safety nets, because life happens. Sometimes,
especially on the trimester calendar, like by the time you are doing
it's very
your midterm,
overwhelming for both students and professors. So just as a personal feeling on the matter, I feel like short extensions would greatly benefit really everyone.
The biggest issue that I can sympathize with on the other end of the anti-short extension spectrum is that currently, with the current software that we have, you need to manually update everything. So when you put in an assignment and you put it in late and you get special considerations, your professor has to manually override your grade in all of the different softwares instead of it all being consolidated into one thing. And if you have short extensions and you have many people accessing it, then you need to manually override the late penalty on everyone's things. Which I understand is an administrative burden, but at the same time, I think that, you know, in the long run, it should unclog special considerations. It should unclog a lot of the other systems that we see people falling into. And especially because they go, 48 extra hours for short extensions. That's unreasonable. People would already get that on special considerations. All it means now is that you don't need to go to the doctor to get a note for it. If you're sick, you can just be like, look, I'm sick. I need an extra 48 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, really that administrative burden you speak about, it's really just not seeing the forest for the trees. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a little bit short-sighted in terms of the actual good that the motion could bring about. And
I know that like part of it is that a lot of faculties within the university, as well as like ARC in general, are in the process of changing their software systems. And
there's a lot of change
streamlining software systems and technology and all of that jazz. And so I'm sure that once we have better technology and things like that, it'll be a lot easier. But I just think that ideologically, short extensions are really important.
Yeah, no, fully agree. All right, let's go with something still on topic, but slightly in a different tack. Could we get a quick summary of things that the SRC has already achieved, let's say in the last term?
Yeah, sure. So we had ColourTub, obviously, which was the most successful SRC activation to date. And it was, amazing in terms of, I guess, just the reach that we had doing that. And then also we had, obviously, all of our collectives are doing great things and building their collectives. The ethnocultural grant, which ended up going to the Singaporean Students Association, and I could be wrong, the Malaysian Students Association as well.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah, they did a lot of work on that, and that was extremely successful. We had the Environment Collectives Rally Against Fossil Fuels. We had the Queer Collective Zine making Fest, that was really cute. And then just in general, I've been in a lot of meetings with ARC board, academic board, EDI board, all of that jazz. But I guess the best one, not to pick favorites, is that Joseph, who is a counselor and also noise editor, shout out, and I have been meeting with clubs about the club's processes, and part of that is that we've directly looked at the survey results and things like that for how club execs are faring and how we can support them. But then also, like Joseph was like, hey, it would be good to get data on this. And then ARC was like, sure, we'll throw that in as a question this time in the survey, and things like that. And currently we are being consulted on the new ARC. I guess, how would I say this without like, let's just say like there's changes to clubs, and grants and all of that jazz that Joseph and I are being consulted on recently, and it's going in a very good direction that I'm very excited about working towards.
Well, that's very, very exciting to hear. All right, and I think we will leave it there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. I love being
All
here.
right. Thank you for listening to the Make Some Noise podcast. If you would like to get involved in helping us make the podcast or in writing for us, please go ahead, submit a application through our website or send a DM directly to our Instagram if you'd like to help support the podcast or publication and or both. You can find all of our links in our Spotify, in our Instagram, and on our website. Once again, thank you for listening and stay tuned.